Those of you who have followed the channel for a while will remember last day in May 2025, over a year ago, about 15 months ago now, I was arrested and charged under section S41 of the Hate Crime and Public Order Act. You know, Hum's a useless law that is a parting gift to the Scottish public. But then yesterday, I had a letter from these people here, the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service. And it says, case against me. I have now reviewed the case and have decided on the basis of the current information available to me to take no further action in the case against you at this time. I also was returned the phone that I had confiscated in my arrest. It's never been turned on since the day they took it. And the reason they didn't do that was dead simple. My whole case was round a video I had done where I questioned the words of an elected councillor in Glasgow. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is this Labour councillor on Glasgow City Council, who is making outrageous claims about Glasgow and Glasgow City Council. And so the whole case was about one video. You didn't need any of the other stuff because the complainer said that was video, that 13-minute video that will show you some clips for to give you an idea of what I said. So there's backstory to this. I saw 2 or 3 posts about the same video, a little clip of a video of this councillor making some outrageous claims about Glasgow City Council and its diversity and how she believes it's not diverse enough. And I want to point out some facts that actually dispel that. Had somehow brought on, and the charge was communication in a threatening, abusive or insulting manner. So my communication in their eyes was threatening, abusive and insulting, and intended or likely to stir up hatred against a group defined by race, colour, nationality, citizenship, ethnic or national origins. So the prosecution services don't believe that my communication was threatening, abusive or insulting and intended or was likely to stir up hatred by any group at all. So what basically happened was I put this video out and 2 people from the council, one an elected member and one with a cushy number who used to be, and I believe still is, an activist for the Labour Party, an elected person as a Labour Party councillor. They believed that. They went to the police arrested me. The police arrested me in the street about 8:30 on the Friday morning and charged me as soon as I was put in the police car, which was a bit weird because I never once was interviewed and asked to give my side of what the crime or alleged crime was, and I was never given the opportunity in court either. Because what followed was I got out of the police station on the Friday evening and I was given bail conditions and told to appear in court in a month's time. That was the end of June. That case never happened. Now, I had 6 different dates to go to court to plead guilty or not guilty, and at which point I would be told the allegations against me. This letter is the first time I've actually heard the allegations against me, once it was all dropped. So I had 6 dates, 5 of them the prosecution service cancelled, either while I was in court waiting to go in and plead guilty or not guilty, or a couple of times they maybe notified me a day or 2 before it. But sometimes I actually turned up in court. And one time I had to cancel because in the September date, they gave us that we actually turned up at court in September and were handed a new letter telling us to come back in October. I was on holiday in October, so I had to cancel one of them. Such a bad boy. So at no time was I ever given an opportunity to hear the allegations against me in a formal interview before being charged, nor in a court of law. On the December, the prosecution wrote to us and said, we have no future date for this case now. So because of that, we drop all bail conditions. And never in that letter said, because we don't think there's any criminality or we're not pursuing you. They left that bit out, which was a bit uncommon as per my lawyer's view on it. And since then, since December, and we're now into June, we've had no court dates, no bail conditions, and no further action letter until yesterday. Now, what happened, not long before I went on holiday, my lawyers were advised by the prosecution service that they seen no criminality in the case, and they were going to put a line through it. However, I don't know if this is unique to Scotland or not, but certainly in Scotland, when that happens, the complainers, because there was more than one, were given 28 days to appeal the prosecution's decision, which I think is a bit weird, because if they turn around and appeal it, what are the prosecution suddenly going to decide? Well, there is criminality, right? If they could see criminality, they prosecute. That's kind of their job. And then I was told, so the 28 days, and that'll once that 28 days is up, you then should get no further action letter, and that should have happened while I was on holiday. But in the first few days, actually, my holiday, I'm back my holiday 2 or 3 weeks now, and I was away for a fortnight, so never happened, right? Now, we found out at the start of this week, end of last week, that the reason for that was the complainer or complainers did appeal the decision, and the Procurator Fiscal stood by their decision and issued me a letter. Now, yesterday, I must say, when I went dealing with the prosecuting services yesterday, the staff were brilliant with me, right? And even I got a wee bit upset about something while we were dealing yesterday, and they were cool with that, and I apologised, because I was a bit upset with something that happened, and I probably overreacted. Anyway, they sorted the situation out. The staff that I dealt with then were fantastic yesterday, and they were not any of the staff that had anything to do with anything in the 14 months running up to yesterday. My problem with the prosecution service is, my case was dead simple. There's only one bit of evidence. It was a 13-minute video. So you look at that video, have I committed a crime? Yes or no? Can you prosecute? Yes or no? Now, if the answer was no yesterday when they issued this letter, the answer was no 14 months ago when they first looked at it, and every time they would have pulled it out to look at it in the 6 court dates I had, right? The evidence has not changed. There is only one piece of evidence, a video. Did I break the law or not? Evidently, the prosecution service now feel I didn't. So why did it take 14 months? And if there was no criminality, then why did the police charge me? And why did they charge me without even an interview? And I'll give you my guesstimations why. It's very, very simple. By the way, see the video. I'll actually put a link in the description, so you can. I've taken it offline. I'm going to put it back up when I launch this video, and I'll put a link to it in the description and the comments, and you can go and watch it. Right? It's bonkers to consider the allegation and the charges that I actually did face. So yeah, what happens then? And this is from someone inside our judiciary, let's just say, who has knowledge of how the judiciary works. And the judiciary now is very much victim-based. And I kind of think when there is a victim identified by law as somebody's guilty of a crime against you, you are a victim. You're not a victim just because you say, I don't like what Craig said in the video, right? That's not a victim. But a proper victim, then I kind of think, yeah, maybe that's fair that the judiciary should be a victim-led process. But that should only take place once somebody's been found guilty. But what I'm being told is happening is, everybody in that whole system and process is scared to say to any complainer, we don't see any criminality here, we're not going to pursue this. And you imagine turning up at the police office, the local office, with a complaint and being told that, you'd be unhappy. Can you imagine if the police charged somebody, sent it to the prosecutor, and it's in the prosecutor's job to say, you can't see any criminality here, you wouldn't be happy. So what I believe is happening here is, we're getting everything's getting packed up the park because people are scared. And I think what makes this one doubly as daft is they've perceived victim as a counsellor. And I think if the complaint had been made by a normal Joe Boggs public, I probably wouldn't have been arrested. I probably, even if I was arrested, I'd probably be given an interview, which was what I thought was happening, by the way, when I was arrested. I thought, this will be a hate crime thing, I'll be in and out the police station in a couple of hours. Turned out wrong, because as soon as I got in the car, they charged me. But that's probably what would have happened. If it was a normal person, they would have taken me in, asked me, what I thought about the accusations, and then decided to charge or not, and probably not. And I believe that my case was purely, went through this whole process for political reasons, because of the complainers, all being part of the Labour Party movement, right? So that's why I think I have been dragged through the coals. Now, you remember the way that the papers had you believe that two things happened. I do believe this woman was verbally racially abused at the time, which is unpleasant by some people's reaction to what her words were. But the thing that was always up my sleeve for defence was, this had happened before I'd even done my video. So, and the thing was, people were unhappy with her words. They were reacting to her words, which I'll show you in a couple of clips.
What surprised me about being a female representative is how pale, male and stale it is. The lack of female, the lack of diversity.
Data shows race murder, lack of BAME in senior roles, including public sector, discrimination in public transport. I have heard the lived experience.
But that's what happened. And other weird things happened, right? This is bonkers. There was a national newspaper. When we were told that this is coming to an end, there was a national newspaper got wind of it, and they were going to run a exclusive about my case getting dropped and about, about free speech and all that stuff, right? It was a story they wanted to do, and I'm not going to name the paper or the journalist, because I think this is a bigger problem than any one specific person or outlet. So that would have been about 6-8 weeks ago. They were, maybe even a bit longer, they'd agreed they were going to do this exclusive story. Then I had my situation at the airport. And you don't know, I was detained when I came back from a holiday a couple of 3 weeks ago at Edinburgh Airport, and had devices taken from me. Now, because of that, this journalist stroke newspaper don't think they can run my story. But that story about my arrest's no changed. The only thing is now, because I've now been painted as this, the bogeyman type of thing. So that's kind of what's happening, right? And it's just bonkers. But just 2 words to the numerous. I'm going to have good fun going round. I bookmarked a lot of stuff on Twitter with people saying stupid things about my case. And I'm going to probably wait over the weekend when I've got a wee bit of time, sit down and respond to them in due course. But I've got 2 words for everybody out there that badmouthed me, questioned me, and didn't support me. Ruin ye, right? Proper ruin ye. Get it right up ye, right? Because I have had some amount of shite off idiots in 14 months, and I'm no stupid enough to miss where that came from, and that was quite clearly the way the Sunday Mail, who reported the case back 48 hours after my arrest. They knew everything about the case, which was a bit weird. So somebody had leaked it to them. And the Labour Party, they blamed the police, by the way. I don't. I blame the Labour Party. But because what there was 2 stories. There was a female Muslim counsellor who was verbally abused by people, and it wasn't nice. And I was arrested. So when they write that this woman's been abused and I've been arrested, you're meant to put 2 and 2 together and come up with 5. They believe that I verbally abused a female. I was never ever charged with that, and even the thing I was charged with has now been put in the bin. So get it up the law to you. Okay? If you want others to see this video, do us a favour, click a thumbs up. Do what you've been doing all summer, it's been fantastic. Put in comments below, and just double check that you're still subscribed to the channel. YouTube will put a video up here and here from the back catalogue that you think you like, and they'll put here the logo if you've not already subscribed. But more important than all that, unless you're the type of person that thought Big Hoosty was going to get a tin pail for doing something that he hadn't done because you all thought I'd abused somebody, then not you, but see everybody else. Have a great day. Cheery bye now. Thanks for all the support.